consideration provided by
Super Emma just about sleeps in her cave. But when we realized she was battling sensitive skin, we switched to Tide Hygienic Clean Free. It's gentle on her skin and out-cleans our old free detergent. Tide Hygienic Clean Free. Hypoallergenic and safe for sensitive skin.
If you're a smoker, I have a tip for you. Make a video of yourself before all this happens.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Ooh, tomorrow on ET Magic Mike turns 10. Our fiery flashback plus sexy scoop from Channing Tatum's Last Dance.
Well, we're getting 100 on this one.
I'm sorry, but they're done filming the movie, so you can't get on set for your lap dance.
Channing said they're going to be at 100 for this one. 100!
Oh, boy. All right.
Happening now.
51 people now dead in San Antonio's largest mass casualty incident. Coming up, we'll discuss what migrants are willing to risk for a chance at a better life in the U.S. and how the survivors are doing.
Since October, Border Patrol has carried out more than 900 rescues, surpassing last year's numbers. Coming up, we get a closer look and feel at what these rescues are, plus Border Patrol's direct message to migrants.
More showers on the radar screen today, but of course not everybody is getting in on the action. We'll take a look at what neighborhoods are getting rainfall and an update on that tropical moisture in the Gulf. The news at 5 starts right now.
And first at 5, almost 24 hours after dozens of people were found dead in southwest San Antonio, we've learned that death toll has risen to 51 people, and new details regarding the suspect should be becoming known.
Our John Paul Barajas is live from Quintana Road. That's exactly where that 18-wheeler with dozens of migrants was found yesterday. Many of those people had already died before authorities got there. John Paul, we're learning so much today. What do we know now?
Steve, Stephanie, you guys already mentioned it. More lives have been lost in this tragedy. The death toll continues to rise. 51 lives were lost. 34 of them have been identified. 46 of them never had a chance to get medical attention. They died here on scene. Yesterday, they were found dead on scene. Now, we're told out of the deceased, 39 of them were men, 12 of them were women. And here on scene again, the memorial site is already starting to build up with multiple crosses. And at this time, we're told all those who have died are adults, but since this is an ongoing and actively working, county officials say there are teenagers that may be under the age of 18. They're just not sure yet. They also told us consulates from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador have been contacted. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf addressing the horrible way that so many lives were lost.
Today, we mourn for those 51 immigrants who came to us to breathe that fresh air, but instead found death in the state of Texas, suffering in a van or trailer from heat exhaustion.
As for where the investigation stands, 3 people are in custody. Sources say 1 was found in the field trying to blend in with bodies. The other 2 were found at a South Bexar County home. After multiple checks with federal authorities, we have not been able to find charges for any of those 3 people. And we also do not have word for how long those people might have been stuck inside that tractor trailer 18-wheeler without any water or AC. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
John Paul, thank you. In the meantime, 5 hospitals have stepped up to help the people who survived being in that hot tractor trailer. Now, to recap, 16 people were taken to hospitals, 12 are adults, 4 kids.
Our Courtney Friedman has been getting updates on their conditions all day. She joins us live from Baptist Hospital. That's where 3 of those migrants were found out actually died. Courtney.
Yeah, it is a sad fact. These heat-related injuries are just so detrimental and so hard to treat. That's what we've been hearing from all 5 of the hospitals where these patients are taken. Now, let's take a look at what we know so far. Here at Baptist Hospital, 5 patients were taken here. As we just said, 3 did not make it. They died, and the last 2 here are still in critical condition. Christus Santa Rosa has 4 patients, 3 at its Westover Hills location and 1 at the Children's Hospital of San Antonio here downtown. Methodist Hospital has 3 patients at its Methodist Metropolitan location, 1 male and 1 female, both in critical but stable condition. University Hospital has 2 patients, a 23-year-old woman now upgraded to serious condition and a teenage boy still in critical condition. Texas Vista Medical Center has 2 patients, a 23-year-old woman and 32-year-old man, both in critical condition.
Every single organ system. Once you cross the line of the heat stroke and everything has been involved, the treatment becomes fairly complex.
That was Dr. Pedro Chavez with Baptist Children's Hospital. He treats a lot of heat illness and says that reason, what he just said, is exactly why it is so hard to treat severe illness at this level. There is some good news. At the press conference that John Paul was just talking about, they talked about that 23-year-old woman that is recovering at University Hospital. She is now upgraded to serious condition. She is talking, and they have contacted her mother in Guatemala. We'll have much more details about that recovery and her story at 6 o'clock. For now, we're live at Baptist Hospital downtown. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Courtney. We'll see you at 6. Well, the San Antonio Fire Department's medical directors were some of the first to arrive on scene shortly after police discovered that tractor trailer full of people last night. ABC's Matt Gutman spoke to them today about what kind of triage and life-saving measures they had to take. He also asked them about how seeing such a large amount of death and suffering is affecting them.
Do you still see the images from inside the truck when you close your eyes?
Yes. And I think about what they went through when those doors closed. I think about the risks that they took. I think about people being treated worse than animals. It's disgusting. And I'm happy we were able to provide some care to some patients that we were able to find.
World News Tonight will have more on their story and the effort to save lives coming up after this newscast. The 51 lives lost, just a handful of the hundreds of thousands of people trying to find better lives in the United States however they can.
Yeah, Garrett Berger spoke with a local pastor about the dire straits that can really propel migrants to risk their lives to get here.
That's right. Now, city officials have said San Antonio is seeing an unprecedented number of migrants coming through the city in recent months, and they're just counting the ones that were able to move through legally. Now, Travis Park Church and Corazon San Antonio run an overnight shelter for asylum seekers who are bussed up from the border on their way to their final destinations. But whether they're seeking a legal route or risking discovery or death in a tractor trailer, Pastor Gavin Rogers thinks the motivations pushing migrants into the United States are the same.
So to put themselves in that situation, right, to try to find a better life, you have to believe that they were truly seeking a better life. And unfortunately, many people involved do not treat them with the same dignity and respect that hopefully that many other organizations do.
The city said last week that more than 185,000 migrants have come through San Antonio since April of last year. And they expect there could be a record 19,000 in June alone. Again, those numbers are just the ones traveling legally. Steve, Stefania.
Thank you, Garrett. And as Garrett just explained, the journey to the United States often dangerous and deadly, but it doesn't stop people who are desperate and willing to risk it all, especially during the summer months for some reason. The conditions grow more harsh for those searching for a better life and for the people trying to secure the border as well. We're going to see exactly what that journey looks like for migrants and agents in the Rio Grande Valley. Alicia Barrera will have a live report from Mission, Texas, coming up a little bit later in this newscast.
You know, we've been following this story since news broke last night. We're going to continue providing updates for you as new information comes in. So we invite you to stay with us. Follow us on social media. You can also download the KSAT 12 app on your smart device. Also, here's another option. You can look for the updates on KSAT.com and, of course, in all of our newscasts. Now, switching now to an update out of Uvalde. HEB and the Butt family are donating $10 million to the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District to build a replacement school for Robb Elementary.
$10 million. Now, that money will go to the Uvalde CISD, the school district Moving Forward Foundation. That's what it's called. It's seeking donations to make the district schools more secure, help build the new school, and build a memorial park at the Robb Elementary location. You can read more about these donations at KSAT.com. We also have an update on the 2 people who have been at University Hospital since the May 24th shooting. The 66-year-old woman has been released, we are told. The 10-year-old girl is now listed in good condition, which means her vital signs are stable and in normal limits. She's conscious and comfortable, and indicators are excellent, is what they're telling us. And checking traffic out there, this is Highway 90 at Couples, and you can see things are moving great in both directions. And maybe I like this picture a little bit more because you see the amount of rain that we are getting throughout San Antonio today.
Yeah.
Well, you probably heard it depending on where you were in the city.
Absolutely. And it's meaningful rain. That's the other thing. This is great news today. Now, I know the timing isn't ideal, being the evening commute. We can't control that, but at least we're getting some much needed rainfall. And you look across the area, it's widely separated. Most significantly right now, eastern and northeastern Bexar County. That's where you see these red colors actually stretching from about Stone Oak all the way around 1604 down to Elmendorf. That's where two outflow boundaries recently collided and gave the air that rising motion and kick-started these thunderstorms. The white lines indicating the lightning strikes, the cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. You get a better view of it here when I tilt it. And of course, we've got some lightning scattered about. There could be some highly localized power outages as a result of lightning, but that would be it. We're going to take a closer look at radar in just a moment. I want to show you really quickly the impact on temperatures and rainfall accumulations. Santa Maria, 0.3 inches today. Elsewhere, 0.35 in Mico. That's good for Medina Lake, Lavernia, a half inch. And we're still adding to some of those totals. And temperatures in the 70s in spots. We'll see in a few minutes. Closer look at radar and an update on that tropical moisture and where that's likely to go coming up.
All right, thank you, Adam. By the way, with all that rain, we got some high winds today as well. Those high winds caused a partial collapse here at a house under construction. This is a live look at that location. This is off Gabby Cole Lane.
That's, if you're wondering where it is, it's near Talley Road and Wiseman in West Bexar County. The San Antonio Fire Department tells us that several people are trapped, but so far no one is hurt. Of course, stay with us for this story because we're going to continue to get you updates. Now, in other news, technically, people could still seek abortions in Texas. The Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade last week, but a district court judge in Houston granted a temporary restraining order that blocks the Texas abortion ban, at least for now. So that means that women can still have an abortion if they're up to 6 weeks pregnant. And there's similar circumstances in Louisiana and Utah.
For now, we're back up and running. How long that will last, I do not know. I fear that we will be closed permanently.
In Wisconsin, the governor is offering clemency to any doctor that's convicted of performing an abortion in his state. Clinics in states like Colorado and Illinois, where abortion is still legal, are dealing with an influx of calls from women who are seeking help. On a related note, there's also an increase in demand for Plan B, or what many of us know as the morning after pill. And that's forcing pharmacies like CVS and Rite Aid to limit how many people can go and actually get some. By the way, the morning after pill isn't an abortion pill. The only thing it does is prevent pregnancy.
Border Patrol has expanded its resources to help migrants abandoned by coyotes in relentless conditions, leading to more rescues. Coming up, we're live in the Rio Grande Valley with what those rescues entail.
Myra Arthur here in the KSAT newsroom. San Antonio police handed off last night's discovery of human remains inside of a tractor trailer to federal authorities within hours. Well, tonight at 6, we'll look at how that approach is different from how SAPD handled another migrant discovery in 2017. It's a defender's investigation, and it's tonight at 6 o'clock. Plus, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office undergoing more active shooter training. David Sears attends the refresher course for administrators and teachers. One of the main lessons, teaching students and teachers to say something if they see something. We'll see you at 6 o'clock.
Myra, thank you. $4,500. That is how much coyotes are charging undocumented immigrants to take them into the U.S.
However, that one-way ticket many times is met with harsh treatment and conditions at the hands of smugglers, leading to physical or mental abuse, and as we've seen, sometimes death.
Our Alicia Barrera is in the Rio Grande Valley, where Border Patrol held its annual border security event this morning, and she's going to show us how agents are saving lives. Alicia.
Good afternoon. Well, this event ran anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, and at many points we were walking, at other times running. But this is the thing, we were prepared. We were well hydrated with lots of electrolytes. We were wearing proper clothing. We could even take breaks. EMTs were walking alongside with us. But this isn't how it is for migrants, and today was just a glimpse of what they go through. And we want to remind you that the images that you're about to see are a reenactment.
We got a rescue beacon activation on the Silver Tanks Road.
10-4 will be on foot.
Border Patrol agent Sandra Velasquez gets a message from dispatch of a woman in distress.
That's going to be a 10-4 on one female.
Border Patrol has 47 rescue beacons placed in areas of high traffic throughout the Rio Grande Valley.
As you know, the valley can be very unforgiving and a daunting trek. The thick brush, the quicksand-like ground, the relentless heat and humidity, and the wildlife combine to make it difficult, if not impossible, journey for those who are ill-prepared.
The woman wasn't alone. Her daughter is somewhere in the brush, and Border Patrol EMTs and specialty operation units, a drone, and canines are all activated in hopes of finding the person alive.
We'll look until we find them.
Since October, Border Patrol agents in the Rio Grande Valley have performed over 900 rescues. However, migrant deaths are also on the rise. So far, 140 this year.
With the rising temperatures of South Texas, this is a guaranteed death sentence. And crossing the border illegally shouldn't be a death sentence.
In today's exercise, they find the woman alive with signs of heat exhaustion.
1, 2, 3, oh.
And because of the terrain, agents must carry her on the stretcher for at least a mile.
So the further up you are, the heavier the body is, and we're supposed to call out rotate once we have a good handle. And about every 10, maybe 20 steps is when you'll rotate again. Rotate!
And while agents do help save lives, they want to send a clear message.
It's not worth it. Do not place your life or the lives of your loved ones in the hands of these criminals.
And we're barely entering the summer months, so Border Patrol says that they do expect these 911 calls from distressed migrants to increase in the coming months, and which is why they're expanding their missing migrant program to mitigate loss of life, but they also focus on identifying the deceased, and many times it can be skeletal remains that they're dealing with. Coming up at 6, we'll have more from our visit here in the Rio Grande Valley. Back to you.
Thank you, Alicia. All right, live cam right now, 76 degrees out there. This has been the dark bright spot of the day.
Yeah, true.
Can I say that? Does that all make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's
a dark bright spot.
It's some good news today is what we have, and that's the rain that we have falling, and some of it even right on Medina Lake Reservoir and its watershed. That's where we have some of the heavy rainfall right now, and even stretching farther to the east of San Antonio. I'm going to go over to the computer here because I want to put this into motion and make sure it's working properly and make sure everything's up and running. But look at what we have going on right now is some rain accumulations. Poth had over 2 inches of rain. Good for Poth. Elsewhere, we've got some activity out there, and there it is moving along. Basically drifting to the east-southeast at about 10-15 miles per hour. And this activity right here, this is more recent. This is from these two outflow boundaries. Watch these two green lines come together right on the county line near Shirts. Boom, and then that flared up this batch of heavy rain with a lot of lightning and thunder. I turned off the lightning because it just kind of gets in the way and clutters up the screen a bit. If we want to give this an actual timing, assuming it holds together and maintains its movement to the southeast at only about 15-16 miles per hour. Now let's put it right there at about 16-17 miles per hour. Here's a general list of some of the areas and when you'll get it. Alamo Heights at about 5:30 p.m., so that's within 12 minutes. Castle Hills 5:33. Monte Vista at about 5:39, so near 5:40 Monte Vista. That's assuming this stays intact as it ventures to the southeast, okay? I do think it will hold together quite a bit for at least the next hour or so. In terms of actual rainfall accumulations over the 12 hours today, this is nice. You look on the map where you see yellow, that's where we've had 2 inches of rain. I showed you that photo out of Poth, just southeast of Floresville, and look at even radar estimates of 2 inches. You get locally, you go to downtown, 2 inches of rain estimated, particularly on the south side of town and over Medina Lake Reservoir, so good to see. By about 9 o'clock, I think the rain will really start to come to an end, but it's going to be sticky tonight. Temperatures in the 70s, that is where we've had the rain, warmer elsewhere. Tomorrow through Saturday, just a few random pop-up afternoon showers and storms. Nothing like the coverage we had yesterday and today. Also, we have our wild card for basically the end of the week and into the weekend. That's this highly unorganized area of showers and storms. A 40% chance it could become a tropical depression. But bottom line, even if it gets the title of tropical depression, it's just going to be a rainmaker. I hope it would move our way. Right now, of course, anything's possible. You look at the spaghetti plots. However, I think odds favor that moisture staying east of San Antonio and closer to the Gulf Coast and then East Texas. Look at that, 70s right now. Tomorrow we'll be in the mid-90s with just that 20% chance, so a stray shower, thunderstorm, back up closer to 100 by the end of the weekend and early next week.
All right, thank you, Adam.
All right, so the NFL put Desean Watson on notice.
Yeah, they actually let him know what they're seeking as far as his punishment is concerned for what he did during the offseason a couple of seasons ago. When we come back here, actually it was several seasons ago, the NFL's recommendation on punishment for Desean Watson, and Baker Mayfield says he's ready to move on now.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The NFL has informed Desean Watson, the Cleveland Browns, and the Players Association that it intends on recommending that Watson be handed an indefinite suspension without pay and miss at least all of next season without pay for violating the league's personal conduct code of conduct. That is being reported by the Wall Street Journal before the hearings before disciplinary officer Sue L. Robinson that began today. Under that recommendation, Watson would miss all of next season, will be allowed to apply for reinstatement for the 2023 season after being accused of sexual assault and misconduct during massages in 24 civil lawsuits by women. The Browns were prepared for this recommendation after fully guaranteeing Watson's $230 million contract following their trade with the Houston Texans for 6 draft picks. That's because Watson's contract is only for $1 million next season. We are learning more about the lawsuits filed against the Houston Texans on Monday for enabling the quote, egregious behavior of their former quarterback, Desean Watson, during massages. Now, Houston attorney Tony Busby filed the lawsuit against the team for also shielding Watson to protect him and the organization. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of former massage therapist student who alleges that Watson assaulted and harassed her. Busby is the same attorney who represented 24 women in civil lawsuits against Watson for his behavior during massages, settling 20 of those already. Now, Busby believes this is just the first submitting to come against the Houston Texans organization following the New York Times investigation that revealed the team provided Watson with access to the Houstonian where some of the massages occurred and non-disclosure statements sent out as early as 2020. Meantime, Baker Mayfield admits he's frustrated that his trade away from the Cleveland Browns has not happened yet before minicamp. That the only team that appears interested right now in Mayfield at this time are the Carolina Panthers. But speaking from his youth camp, which he moved from Ohio to Norman, Oklahoma, that started today, Mayfield was asked if there's any chance he might stick around with the Browns since it appears Watson will not be able to play next season.
I think it's been pretty obvious the mutual decision on both sides is to move on. You know, I'm thankful for my 4 years in Cleveland. There's a lot of ups and downs and a ton of learning experiences that you know, I'll forever keep with me. You know, teammates and friends and relationships that I'll have for a lifetime. And the support staff in Cleveland, the people of Cleveland, it's a great sports town. So I'm thankful for it. And there's no resentment towards the city of Cleveland by any means.
But I think a lot of people think if they didn't have a quarterback for the next year, would there be any chance of reconciliation there?
No, I think for that to happen, there would have to be some reaching out. But we're ready to move on, I think, on both sides.
Yeah, I think the lines of communication have been cut.
You think so?
Yeah. I think so.
Thanks, Greg. Sure.
We'll be right back after this.
Lightning the culprit here. CPS Energy reporting about 225 outages affecting over 17,000 customers at the moment. You take a look at the radar and you see the showers with a lot of lightning still developing, especially on the city's east side of town. This is drifting west with a full update coming up at 6 o'clock. See you then.